Hey guys, welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. It's me, Alex Whiteley. Hope you're all well. Welcome to this show. I am today speaking to Vince Dovey from Shropshire ITC. Now, Vince has actually been on the show before, but you will not know it because we did a show. Oh gosh, it must have been back in August, something like that, maybe July even.
I think it was July, yeah.
About July. We recorded a show together, and I got to explain, right? So every 2 months, what I tend to do is I back up everything that I ever make, you know, everything that I've, even from the beginning, from my early Thorskin days, my first logos from the first shows that I put together, it's all safe in a hard drive. Now, what I did was I backed everything up, and then all the other bits kind of get sort of removed, and I accidentally removed Vince's interview that we did. So it disappeared. So I'm very, very sorry, Vince, that that happened. But I'm so glad that we got you here today to redo this. How have you been? You been good?
Yeah, not too bad at all. It's a bit of a weird time, but what can you do? It
is. Since the last time we've spoken, we've come out of lockdown, and then we've gone back into another lockdown. And last time we spoke, so we need to talk about sort of like what you guys were doing to help people during the pandemic with the apps that you were putting together and the successes of them.
Well, yeah, I think last time we spoke, it was just as we were coming out of the first lockdown.
Yes.
And we were speaking to pubs and cafes and churches, weirdly, about how they could safely walk back through the door and start earning a crust again. And we decided as a business what we were going to do is we built a free app that would enable people to track and trace.
Yes.
Stick with the obligations that the government have put in place, and also enable them to offer for pubs and cafes table service, and for churches to enable people to, at a distance, place their either orders or prayers or whatever they needed to do. So it was just starting off as a bit of, you kind of pioneered this with yourselves and a few others, and it was the small group of people that you were doing it with, it was proving quite successful. So you were going on to sort of advance things, and how has things gone since then for you? Well, it worked well. We helped probably, if you count them all together, probably about 100 odd establishments.
Wow.
Up and down the country. Within a month or so, the government started getting their act together a little bit more and putting their own track and trace systems in, which was great. And so people decided that, did they need ours or could they go straight to the government? But that was always going to be the case. It was there as a stopgap and there to help people out. It wasn't a money-making venture on our part. It was just to try and help while people were finding their feet.
Yeah, because that's what we talked about last time, is that it was more of a goodwill thing from you to try and help businesses sort of move on and continue trading safely. I guess does that goodwill create more of a relationship with people that you work with? Because you're not in it to make, like you said, you're not in it to make millions. You probably could have made loads of money on it, but you chose not to. You chose to help.
Well, at the risk of sounding a little cuddly and nice.
Nothing wrong with cuddly on the Shrewsbury Biscuit. We like cuddly.
I decided that there's a lot of people out there who were really struggling, weren't sure how they were going to get back on their feet. We've, touch wood, we've managed to weather the storm. We've got some great customers. We've picked up a few more customers. We've lost a few on the way. But it was a conscious decision from me and the lads that, that there were times to make money and there were times to actually put a little bit back. And yeah, we've got some good relationships out of it. We've helped a few businesses out, but it gave me the opportunity to sit back and say, okay, if I'm doing all right, what else can I do to help? So we had the pub and the church, but we've also tried to carry it on. if I'm putting that, we've tried to sit there and see what else can we do to help people. So the last 4 or 5 months have been trying to come up with ideas where, I've got to run a business, I've got to put food on the table, I've got obligations to my lads, but also what else we can do to help people who are struggling a little bit more than we are.
Well, that's the thing, though, isn't it? You know, when you create an idea that other people can use, and it's got your, I mean, did it have the Shropshire ITC name attached to it, even though you're giving it for free? So that's it. I mean, you're promoting your business by pioneering an idea that's helped others. So what you've done effectively is you've told people who you are, what you do, and how great you can do it. So I mean, it's a great model.
Yeah, I mean, I won't argue. It's there's a marketing side to it, and I'm not going to shy away from that.
No, you need to own that. Absolutely need to own that.
But sometimes it's nice also to you have to get over a little bit of confusion from people when they say, well, okay, how much, what's in it for you, what you're doing it for, and you have to try and explain. Actually, no, when I say it's free, it's it's free.
Yeah.
But no, and other guys have done it. I love the fact that some of the businesses we touch base with, some of the businesses I hear about in Shrewsbury, there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good stuff, and helping. And I don't know whether we're unique in that. I doubt it, but it does give a nice little glow when you
I always
see businesses out there.
I always say it's something in the water. We had Andy O'Brien, the singer, come on our show a while ago, and he was saying, like,
I know Andy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Went to see a show on it was like literally the last night of lockdown. I think was it last night? It was the last night before lockdown, and we went to his show and we were like, thank God we got that in before we went back into lockdown. But he was talking on our show about sort of like goodwill, and sort of like he was doing this music in his shed, and so just to keep people happy, really, just to keep things going. And he felt bad about other musicians, other artists, pubs, all these sort of things that couldn't make money on trade and things. And I always say it's definitely something in the seven. There's got to be something in the water, because like you said, this right. There's a lot of good vibes, goodwill, and innovation as well. Lots of people doing kind of amazing new ideas. So yeah, you're definitely part of that. I believe.
Well, one of the things, without wishing to blow smoke up here, one of the things that helps in places like Shrewsbury is guys like yourself who are giving people a platform to actually say what they're doing, giving people a platform to help them innovate, help them offer services, help them do what Andy's doing with his music in the shed. I mean, Andy's got a history of helping people out, but maybe it's a little less quiet now because he's got people like yourselves and others who can blow their trumpet a little bit.
Well, what I saw with the Biscuit, and like one of the constant sort of factors into why the show I think has been successful is because they synergized all the local radio stations. You've got BBC Radio Shropshire here, but when it comes to like Free Radio or all these other radio stations that were local, I mean, it was Beacon FM before, then it went to Free Radio, and it turned into this synergy of kind of nationwide shows, this web of just like, it's not local anymore. It's not local. It's not at all. And I think what we're doing at the Biscuit is we're offering that. What you were getting with those local radio stations was local information. You don't get that anymore. This is where the people at the Biscuit step into, and we want to advance that into sort of areas around Shropshire. We want to try and expand the Biscuit into being something that's local everywhere. We could have a Telford Biscuit, we could have a Bridgenorth Biscuit, we could have whatever, and we can do move. It's because it's all about. That's what it's all about. It's offering a service to people, and like yourself, there's no. I'm not making any money off this. It's not a business. I mean, we are a business. We're not a business. We're a CIC now, but that's because we need funding. Yeah. We need the tools to sort of grow as a business. But there's no like I'm never going to be rolling up in Mercedes and Rolex watches because of it. Not at all.
But to be honest with you, there's the last. What is it? When did we go to lockdown? March. The last 8 months or so. I think they've recalibrated a lot of people, and it's not about working 18 hours a day to get another Rolex, or working 18 hours a day to get another flash car. It's about, to a certain extent, hunkering down. It's about working out what's important, and whether it's guys like yourself, whether it's, you know, the small efforts we're making, whether it's, you know, the great efforts that other businesses are making, it's, the hope is that when we come out of this, we don't forget that, you know, if I can sit there and help another business out, and then they can then go and help another business out, and then the ripple effect, then yeah, maybe it will come back round to me in the end. But if it doesn't, we've got a wealthier town, we've got a better town, we've got a more caring.
We've got a better connected town as well. We've got a town that will communicate via Zoom. That there's lots of new sort of neighborhood sort of groups appearing on Facebook. People that can communicate about problems, issues, people that need help in an area. I've seen a lot of that. I mean, I've got a couple of friends that straight off, as soon as the hoarding started, there was a Shrewsbury help group, and there's a few of these groups that will just be like, okay, there's a shop here there's somebody here that needs help with the things, and they were dropping off food parcels, and there were people offering to go shopping for elderly people, and there was just this real urge to sort of help people. So like you said, we're going to come out of this, and we're going to be this. I mean, yes, there are some negative things going on at the moment, especially politically. There are some incredible challenges that are being met by people, but at the same time, in amongst all that, at the baseline of all that, there is this community that is well connected and are willing to help each other, which I think is fantastic. Because, and like you said, business owners, especially business owners, all those businesses up the Cop in Shrewsbury, the trading stalls in the markets, all these independent traders are never going to forget this time, because there are times when people have just helped each other, especially when it comes to promotion. Because, you know, like a few years ago, when it came to promotion, it was all about, look at my business and look what I can do. And now that's changed to look what we can do. Here's my friend that also does something similar, you know, and that's really nice to see, I think.
Well, there's a great, there's been an understanding that my success doesn't have to mean your failure. You know, actually, if I take the Cop as an example, if I can get footfall down the Cop, take the cafe on the Cop, wonderful place.
I love that place. I want to get them on the show, because just to sample their cakes, really. I just want to be invite them on the show, be like, yeah, bring cake, absolutely.
Make that a requirement.
Absolutely.
But those guys, they're active on social media, but there's a knock-on effect for Oberon. There's a knock-on effect for the other shops down the Cop. You get people travelling down there, and you know that they will spend their money in the Cop. But it doesn't have to be, you know, you spent a £5 in there, that's out of my pocket. It's not, hopefully, it's not going to be like that. And again, I've got to be careful what I'm saying now, because it's not finalised, but we're trying to work on a project at the moment that will create a loyalty and a stickiness for customers to go to small independents, to go to shy away perhaps from the chains and go to the smaller companies and smaller businesses. And when we came up with the idea, and it's still in the draft stage, but when we came up with the idea, I spoke to a couple of people that I know in Birmingham, and they said, right, you need to monetize this, you need to do this, you need to do that, you make a fortune out of it, hang on. Alternatively, I can make a living out of it, but I can sell it to smaller shops or independent retailers, and you know, I'll make a drink out of it, and it will help them. And that raised a few eyebrows, but actually, long term, a lot of my customers are in Shrewsbury. I live in Shrewsbury. I like going shopping in Shrewsbury. If the town ain't there, if the shops aren't there, then, you know, it impacts my business, but it also impacts my quality of life for my family.
I think I just got a feeling that as soon as, I mean, I've got every faith that this pandemic is going to go away. People are saying, no, we'll never go back to the name that same normal. But I believe that there will be a solution. And everything will just sort of open up again, maybe gradually, I don't know, but I do believe that maybe in a year's time, a maximum, the world will open again. And when it does, everybody's sitting there like a coiled spring right now. There may be people really struggling right now, businesses closing and people, being really hurt by this. But as soon as the world opens again, you're going to open up your palm and that spring is just going to go bam. Like there'll be shops opening, there'll be events wanting to run the biggest events ever, like in the history. There's just going to be people talking about things. It's going to be incredible. And so ideas like yours, if we can divert all that attention to independence and to things that are local, and then we have like systems that are all around the UK, then yes, we can squeeze out those big chains. That I'm not going to attack places like Tesco and Marks and Spencers and things like that, because they are essential for the economy. But at the same time, it's not. I don't like it when they kind of they do damage to the high streets and things, because that's a Shrewsbury way of life. That's the Telford way of life. That's the all these surrounding towns, Wrexham, Chester, whatever. That's the lifeline, isn't it? That's the important part.
Well, we'll keep going back to it. I think as and when we do get out of this, the positives are, you've got this pent up demand, you've got this pent up need to have a bit of joy in your life and a bit of fun back in your life. But if we can harness, if people can remember that the lady 2 doors down is a bit infirm and maybe needs someone to go and get her a pint of milk and a loaf of bread occasionally, the woman down the street can't get over to the other side of town for an appointment. Maybe if we can maintain that and keep helping people and keep that sort of community spirit, then not only will we come out of it with this pent up demand, but we'll also come out of it with perhaps a nicer community, a nicer, walk down the street and it's, without getting all Truman Show about it, but walk down the street and be able to, give a nod to your neighbour, as opposed to having lived there for 8 years and never spoken to them. Well, the other thing
go on.
Sorry, the other thing that you did say that I found is we've been approached by 4 people in the last, 6-8 weeks, who have been at home for 6 months and have had time to think of ideas, had time to think of, I've always wanted to do that, and I've always wanted to try that. I've got this great idea for a website or an app or a business idea or a societal good. And they've now got the time to draw these out and scope them. And maybe, there's an element of, sod it, what have I got to lose? And so I've got 3 or 4 people who've come to me and said, right, this is an idea, what do you think? And one of the things that I've done with these people is sit down and say, well, okay, let's plan it. Let's scope it out. Let's see what we can do. Let's, you can go and get an app built in Birmingham for 20 grand, but let's see how we can do it for an awful lot less. And let's see whether there are ideas that could, they won't be in the next Facebook or Uber or Spotify, but they might just be an idea that gives someone a bit of a living. Weirdly, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are all ideas that benefit people. Either green, covering the green ideas. One of them's a safety app that I've been working on for women travelling on their own or young people travelling on their own. One of them's about helping out independent shops. None of them are, right, I want to charge 300 quid a month for someone to download a game or something like that. They're all, I want to help people, I want to help. And I think it's lovely. And I'll tell you who is really good at helping out with that, the guys at the university. Shrewsbury University.
That doesn't surprise me. They're amazing bunch of guys. I think Mr. Kirkbride there at the university has got a great mind. Whenever I see him, he's always really happy to see me, and he's always encouraging locals to kind of come up with these amazing.
Well, you got guys like Paul. Paul's fantastic.
It's amazing. I love him. He's
absolutely wonderful guy. But I've done a bit of work with the digital solutions team.
Yes.
And they help startups and they help people take ideas out. And the Nikki Ayton and Verity and guys like that, they're passionate. They're passionate about helping take ideas out of people's heads and turning them into businesses. And they love the fact that it's local. They love Shrewsbury. They love all that kind of stuff. The future's positive.
I think one of the great examples of how you take something that's local and you start sort of pepper pottering it into becoming something that could possibly become national, is Kevin from Zoom Food. Amazing guy. I spoke to him, he was doing the drive-in festivals with Beth and the Shropshire festivals team. And, he was saying I'm out of pocket doing this, because he was running food to people's cars during the festival. It was amazing to see. But what I've seen is a new Facebook group pop up for Zoom in Telford, Zoom in Oswald Street, Zoom. So all these little bits, and they've all got their own individual apps and things, So it's a great thing to see, but it just goes to show that it can be done. It can be done, and even during these trying times. I mean, I know that takeaway food is the one thing that's carried on throughout this whole. It's been the one constant. You can still order a pizza, you can still get your Chinese takeaway and get it delivered to your door because can't really go out to get it, can you? Let's be honest.
No, I think you're right, and I think it's ideas like Zoom, all manner of ideas. They are scalable, but people are understanding that build it, nurture it local, get it right local, get a good reputation local, and then you can pick it up and take the same model over to Oswestry or Welshpool or Wrexham or wherever around the country you want to take it, and people aren't now relying on, right, I need £100,000 to build it, I need £2 million to advertise it, I need a national splash immediately. And you mentioned something earlier about politics, and I think yes, they've got a role to play, yes, they've got to control the pandemic and all that kind of stuff, but they're becoming not irrelevant, but people are just getting on with their lives, almost independent of politicians. And they're just saying, like, sorry, I'm in this mess. I've got to get out of it. And the way I'm going to get out of it is I'll work with my neighbour or work with the business down the road and whatever. And I think that's pleasing.
It is nice. Yeah, I mean, with politics, it's hard to know exactly what's going on because things are changing so much all the time, aren't they? What I was going to talk about was, are you talking about nurturing and growing a business before it gets too big and not trying to jump through too many hurdles to expand too quickly, right? I mean, that's the important part about business is making sure you can sort of walk before you can run, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Don't try and move too quickly. I mean, for example, right? This is a metaphor. I always do this. Okay, this is people that listen to the Biscuit are kind of aware of how I do things. I talk about a bit about my own life to sort of fit into the subject. Okay, so I'm an admin on a massive podcast group called the No Rules Podcasting Group. Right, it was a real honor to be asked to be an admin for them, but they've kind of witnessed my genius. I guess they kind of realized that I can grow something and I can make something, and I've got good morals when it comes to it. And I've started a debate this morning about these people that do a like for like and a share for share. If you've got a podcast or a band or anything like that, you'll see these. Where you try and encourage people to like your Instagram. And I did try one. I tried one a couple of weeks ago. It was a local one. It was like, if you like 15 Instagram pages and then share it and change the name and we can get around, that's an extra 700 followers. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it as an experiment because I'm always telling people not to do these sort of things. And I got 2 people that liked my Instagram page, and it was a failed experiment. But the point I'm trying to make is people will not listen. Okay, so like when it comes to creating a podcast or a band or or a business, you are not going to get far by just having lots of likes on your page of people that sit there and do nothing and have Facebook. You build apps, you understand how algorithms work. If you've got 1,000 people on your Facebook page that aren't interacting with what you do, Facebook will push you to the bottom of the pile, because that's not how algorithms work. Yeah. There's a very small percentage of people that's interacting with your group. Now, I try to explain to people why this is really bad, and people do not listen. You've got to look at the things that take time and suddenly grow success after 2 years, after 3 years. Now, when we look at the how things are at the moment and how they can be and how they will be when the world opens, it's going to be those businesses that have taken time to learn the ropes, to do. Cafe on the Cop, for example, you brought them up earlier, amazing. But what they've done is, rather than be like, let's make big money and we can expand, we can grow. What they've done is they've looked at the community, and they've been offering things to the community and building up that name and letting people know about. And it's the same with yourself. You're rolling out an app that you're not really making money on, to expand, let people know what you are capable of. Now, you will not see the benefits of that now, but come 2 years down the line, they'll be like, do you remember Vince made that app and it was really successful? I think we should go to him for this big corporate gig. Because he knows what he's doing. That is the beauty of taking your time and really slowly nurturing what you're doing, because it's not about money. It's about showing people what you can do. That kind of makes sense.
I think there's two. Yeah. There's two things there. One, and I just wrote it down. Good morals. If you're happy with what you're putting out there, take your podcast, for example. If you had the best PR in the world, you had 2 good episodes and 86 episodes, then people will quite quickly work out that, there's no point going back there. But if you sit there and you churn out good quality, decent entertainment, episode after episode after episode, you'll build a following. And if you are honest about what you do, you're not batting above your weight. You're not sitting there saying, I'm going to be the next this. This is what I do, and people will come to it. But the people who come to it will stick with it. The people who come to it will sit there and appreciate what you do, appreciate that you add, and then they will turn around and say, I'm a big believer in, take a cafe, for example. You can go out and you could profiteer in these times, and you might have 3 or 4 months where you make $5,000 a week profit, or you can make $1,000 a week profit forever and a day, look people in the eye, and have the ability to walk down the street with your head held high. Financially, it's better for you. Morally, it's better for you. Reputationally, it's better for you. It's not about a quick buck. It's about, can I go to bed at night knowing that I have done for that customer or that customer or that customer or that community the best I can. Yeah. And do you know what? I've worked in London. As you can tell, I've worked for businesses where I've been paid a decent chunk of change, and I found that I was spending all that chunk of change in forgetting work when I got out of it, because I was stressed, I wasn't enjoying it, I was wasting money on this, that and the other, because I was trying to justify why I was doing it. Was I happy? Nah, not even close. So to do something that actually I enjoy, to do something that I can see the benefits of, and also the challenge. Let's take you, for example. You've taken an idea, created a brand, created a podcast, and built it up. As you say, it's not, at the moment, it's not, there's no Mauritius holiday every 3 weeks, but you're comfortable with what you've done, the challenge is there, you've accepted the challenge, and you've built something. And that creates a sense of pride.
It does, and I think it all depends on how long you want to be doing it for. I imagine, because like you said, right? If you drain, imagine it like a water reservoir. If you're really really thirsty, you could drink the whole reservoir in a month, right? Or you could ration it out and make it last a lifetime. And I'm in this for the long haul, right? I'm in this for probably the rest of my life if I can. Like, I'd be amazing to still be doing the Shrewsbury Biscuit in like 30 years. I'd love to be doing something like that if I'm still alive in 30 years. But and like, I do think the biscuit is worth, as a concept for something, the bigger image that I've got, the biscuit is worth something. It's worth a lot more than what it is now, but I'm not going there yet. We need to nurture what we've got, and we need to really sort of take our time and sort of let people know who we are and what we can do. And I am happy with what we've done. I'm never going to claim to be an expert in business. Absolute opposite. I've never owned a bit. This is the first company I've owned, and it's a freaking podcast, But at the same time, I love to learn off people, and I've learned off. I've spoken to some amazing people that have gone out there and made something of themselves, and I've taken a leaf out of their book of a few people, and morals are important. Sorry, go on.
That's the smart thing. It's not. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not I've still got to keep my ever-growing lad in new trainers and my daughter in whatever the hell it is this week that she's into. So I'm not adverse to making a buck, but it should be a byproduct of being proud of what you're doing. And if you're proud of what you're doing, it will come. I genuinely believe that it will come. But with you've got this great idea, this great product, and you're right. There is no reason why there can't be a Telford or an Oswestry or a Wrexham or a Chirk or wherever you want to do it. And that's the beauty of something, that you're not sitting there going, right, I've had 2 good sessions, so now I'm going to set up 14 different locations. So then go, well, I'll take my time, I'll enjoy it, and then we'll see where we go. But
yeah, I think that there's an idea there, but I mean, when it comes to Shropshire ITC and what you guys do, okay, so
yeah,
how long have you guys been doing it for, and what are things like pre-COVID compared to now? There's 2 questions there.
We've been doing it 10 years.
10 years.
The pre-COVID, fine, nice business, making a bit of money. Looking after customers, big and small, man working out of shed in back garden, through to business with 70, 80 employees. So yeah, anything from IT support, hardware, broadband, phone lines, that kind of the full gamut of IT. We started dipping into programming projects, and touching on apps before lockdown. Then the first 2 weeks of lockdown, so the last week of March and the first week of April, we had it was hectic because everyone decided they wanted to work from home. And they've all got to be set up and all that kind of stuff.
Just like my wife.
Then had exactly. We then had a couple of months where it was hard. We had a few clients go bump on us because they shut their doors and their income just died overnight. Wow. We've had a few clients who have come to us and said, we need to talk about costs. We need to talk about this, that, and the other, because if I can't reduce my costs, I'm going to have to go bump. So I've had to make a decision on that, and I don't want to see anyone go bump, so we take a haircut. But hopefully we keep the customer, and hopefully the customer stays in business. But increasingly, we've had people come to us, partly because I've got a good relationship with the uni. I do some work with their students, their business students, giving them projects and project ideas to do, hypothetical projects to say, right, okay, what would you do in this instance? How would you build it up? How would you market it? And through their contacts, through digital solutions contacts, through Crest, through word of mouth, through the fact that I'm people who know me consider me a gobby so and so who will offer my opinion if asked. And so we've had a number of projects where people have come to us and said, look, I've got an idea with a pencil drawing of a few lines about what it is. What can we do? And at the time, sit there and say, right, okay, well, we'll try that. Maybe this works, maybe that works. There are 4 or 5 businesses out there now who have we've worked with that have come up with ideas during lockdown that we're taking those ideas and got one who had an idea for a business that was very small scale. We've now worked with them, building an app for them, putting them in contact with a few people, and the businesses. The nub of it's the same, but the market has changed. Why not look there instead of there? Why not change the model slightly? And yeah, I'll get business out of it. I'll get work out of it, but also it's nice to be able to help.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've the amount of emails I'm getting through now weekly about people that have written a book or started a business or started something new during lockdown is quite interesting, actually. It is really.
I think what it does, I think it shows that there's a lot of people who have got jobs to exist historically.
Yeah.
And they've got this untapped either creative side or entrepreneurial side or whatever it may be. And now maybe they've had a bit of time and they're sitting there thinking, do you know, if I don't do it now, will I ever do it? And there were ways and means of getting your business off the ground that aren't prohibitively expensive, aren't difficult. If you've got people who can assist you and offer a bit of guidance, and it's not just me. There's loads of blokes out there doing it, loads of people out there doing it who can, approach them with an idea, and they'll help. Comes back to Shrewsbury, something in the 7, I think you said.
Yeah, there is definitely. I think it's true, man. It's true. When it comes to people that are running community projects, I mean, I spoke to Karen from Art Alive, who bring flicks in the sticks. They bring movies, Royal Ballet shows, and they basically turn like a town hall into a cinema so that locals can see something of the arts industry without having to trek into town. It's beautiful. It's great. But obviously, they can't open the community centre, so they're looking for solutions. Digital solutions. There you go. To invite people to watch things via their devices at home, etc. Do you think there's going to be there's going to be more of that soon? Obviously, the cinemas are going to find it really hard to sort of come back. We're going to be paying £7 a bag of popcorn instead of £3.50 now. I imagine it's going to be really hard.
I think these are the challenges that the big businesses will face. That there's people out there that have come up with innovative solutions, like flicks and sticks, that people enjoy. People prefer, if I'm on a fixed budget and it's going to cost me 40 quid to take my family to the cinema for an hour and a half, or I can go down the village hall and pay, I don't know, £4 each or something, and bring my own sweets and sit next to my neighbours and all that kind of stuff. It's going to take a lot to get people back through those doors. But I think I help out. We're quite lucky here. I've got one of my lads who runs youth football teams. Okay. One of my lads is quite, works for the street pastors and does a lot of work for his local church. I help out with the Cubs and the Beavers and the Scouts. There's a lot of people out there that very quietly go about doing community work, and they've come up with some. We had a virtual camp in May for VE Day, nice. And I think there were 80 kids camping in their back gardens, all zooming into each other, all chatting. We had campfires, and
how did that work for you guys? The virtual camp, because I quite like that. I mean, my USUC guys, I think that would be maybe not with Tom at the moment. He's in Vermont. It's starting to snow, but maybe in the summer next year it's starting.
Yeah, that might be a bit.
Yeah, I'm going to die. Yeah, no,
I mean,
yeah.
You asked how it worked. Do you want the honest answer?
Was it a nightmare?
The honest answer, it worked with a tremendous amount of gin and not a lot of sleep. But we just, thanks, got a cup of tea. Each group logged on. We had an in where we all had campfire songs. We had a campfire going. The younger ones hived off at a certain time, then the cubs, and then the scouts, and then stayed up, all chatting, swapping ghost stories, scaring the Jesus out of each other. Then we'd all get together in the morning, all cook breakfast together. Then we all went off in different sections, had challenges, up and down the street, or in the back garden, or whatever. And then we'll meet for lunch, we'll meet for dinner, and then we do what we call strike the camp on the Sunday, where everyone in their tents and everyone sort of stands there and little awards are given out. But it was a lot of work from the volunteers.
Yeah.
Great fun. And we've run Zoom. I've got 2 Zoom meetings tonight. We run Zoom meetings every week that we can't meet because the kids love it.
Zoom's great when you get it to work,
really
right?
Enjoy.
It's great.
If you get to work and don't delete stuff, then it's fantastic.
Yeah. Today, it's working in bits today, which is great. Which is we're getting somewhere, I guess. But that's the kind of world we're going into now. But I mean, I guess with everybody moving to that virtual sort of online presence, does that help you as a business? Because obviously that's what you guys do. That's your domain, right?
Once people bed down and once people get over their initial fear of technology or doing what my father does, which is press buttons very fast, very hard whilst cursing at the keyboard. Yes. Once you get over that, it's a fantastic tool. And I'm speaking to a mate of mine who works in Telford, and he's been at home since February. And they've got a 500-seater office in Telford, and the bosses are seriously considering downsizing to 150, 200-seat office and just having people in once or twice a week on a rotation, because some people are enjoying working from home. Some people thrive, not for everyone, but some people are very productive. They're saving money. They're not traveling. The CO2 hit for the environment's lessened. So I think I don't think it's a panacea, but I think it offers options for people.
Yeah.
And I found with my clients, if a year ago I said, oh, there's no one in the office, my lad's working from home, then people would have raised eyebrows, and maybe now it's just, yeah, fine, no problem. Can you put me through? Can you get them to call me? Can you get them dial into my system and sort out my print or whatever it may be?
At the end of the day, it's a phone and a laptop, right? Or a phone and a PC. Like, what's the difference between where the location is? I mean, I'm going to start seeing all these empty offices somewhere. I'm after just a room that I can put a studio in. I'm going to start seeing empty office blocks everywhere. And I'm like, I just want a room. Like, it's going to be so heartbreaking to see.
I think, to be honest with you, I think in a little while it will be a glut of stuff on the market for people like yourself who want the flexibility just to turn around and say, I want to spend that amount of money each month. In a fancy cafeteria or a communal room or anything. I want a room that I can put a studio in.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed.
Biscuit Studios. Do you know what my dream would be? The Ghostbusters firehouse That would be my ideal. That'd be Biscuit Studios for me. Could you imagine? Woo, woo, down the pole.
Only. Yeah, I think it maybe at the interview when you're looking to take on a property, if you mention you want a pole in the middle of the office, they might take the wrong idea.
Maybe. I mean, knowing some of my Biscuiteers, actually, I was going to say the USUC guys, but Biscuiteers, Shane, I know he can shake his thing. So
well, there you go. Then stick a pole in.
What's 2021 going to look like for you guys? I mean, I know it's hard. You can't project a lot, but
this is a really, really weird thing. I think my gut feel is we'll slowly get back to some sort of normal, and that will be less social distancing, less lockdowns, less interruption to school life and the such like. But I think it's going to take a lot of people a lot of time to want to go back to a busy office. So I think there'll be home working. I think home working will continue for quite some time. I think people who really want to homework have now got a strong case that, hang on, I've been productive whilst at home. And it suits a lot of people. Get up at 6 a.m, do a couple of hours before doing the school run, then do some work, and then be able to do the school run in the afternoon. That's a nice little work-life balance. For us, I think it's maintain our customer base. We're picking up some new customers, which is good. I think these projects that will go it'll be interesting to see where they go. I think anybody who makes really detailed predictions is either extremely confident or a little deluded. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, I think I agree. I absolutely agree. I mean, you can't project a lot at the moment. I mean, you can sort of sit and talk about what you'd like and where you'd like to go.
Oh yeah,
but that's all hypothetical at the moment. You can't really say. But I mean, I guess with a lot of people, it's about how much physical interaction you need to get the job done, right? Really, at the end of the day, because if you can carry on, like you said, working at home, if I can carry on doing this over Zoom and you can carry on offering apps from wherever you guys work, that's fine. It's all well and good. But when you're running a coffee shop or when you're doing, your face-to-face sales, or you've got to be in front of people, or you like Beth running Oktoberfest, things like that, when that's your bread and butter, it's hard to project anything. And I just really hope that I am optimistic. I like to say I'm optimistic. That's true. That is the absolute truth. I am optimistic, but that doesn't mean I'm right.
I think one of the problems is, and you touched on it earlier, to get people to want to go back to, I don't know, an Albert shed on a Friday night. Yeah. To get people to go back, you need a sense of clarity from those further up the political tree. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm not even going to touch with a barge pole whether this was right or that was right. But the sense of drift, I think, is difficult for people to cope with. But the sense of not making it up on the back of a fag packet, but the sense that they're being buffeted rather than that's going to be one of the big stumbling blocks to people getting back to normal. Because I could speak to three. I could watch a press conference with the Prime Minister with people, and then when we talk about it at the end, you could have 4 different opinions about what he said, 4 different interpretations of what the rules are, and 4 different understandings of we're coming out of it, we're still in the middle of it, it's going to get worse. And I think to get the festivals in the quarry back up, to get the pubs comfortable going back to a pub on Friday night where you're cheap to jowl with people, I think that's going to take a level of comfort from above, and we don't have it at the moment. Now maybe we can't have it at the moment, maybe circumstances don't allow for it at the moment, but so I was always told that sometimes it doesn't matter what the decision is, you just need the people in charge to sound like they know what they're talking about, and offer confidence.
Offer hope.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can be like, maybe, we'll maybe do this, maybe.
And if I hear one more boxing glove analogy, or one more piffle and whiff,
oven ready. It's oven ready, guys. It's ready to go. No, let's not let's venture down that one. Regrets, right? So, like, I have one of my biggest regrets is in. Was it November or December? I was meant to go to MCM Comic Con, and I was going to go speak to. I've forgotten his name. Wow, I've forgotten his name. I was meant to interview the guy who played Spike in Buffy, right? Because he's
James Masters.
There you go. And he voices the Dresden Files books, which my friend, my co-host Tom Bruno is a huge fan of. He listens to the books over and over again. So for me to get, and he's a big Buffy fan as well. So for us to get that interview would have been amazing. Now, that weekend there was a terrible accident on the railways. I think a child was hit by a train. It was terrible. So they cancelled all the trains nationwide. It caused chaos. I don't know if you remember. I could have just got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, just driven because it was in London. I could have driven there. It was possible, but I chose not to because I was too tired. I couldn't go. I cancelled it. Now, when you go back to February and March, the world closed. That was my opportunity, right? That was my opportunity to get really good experience before the whole world closed, and I chose not to do it. Do you have any regrets? Is there anything that you wish you would have done different before the world closed?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. There's some mates that I should have seen, and because you convince yourself that life gets in the way and you're busy and you're this, that, and the other, I haven't, and I know that they've struggled a little bit through lockdown. And whilst you can chat to them over Zoom, whilst you can chat to them over the phone, sitting there, taking the mickey out of them face to face, sharing a beer or a cup of tea, doing all the inverted commas bloke stuff that we do sometimes to offer support, I didn't do. And that's niggled me. That has, because it was laziness on my part. It was convincing myself that everything else was important and busy and the such like.
I think it's more, we'll do it tomorrow. And then we'll know tomorrow. You're like, I should have done it yesterday.
Yeah, the other one that I was going to say was, I've been up in Shrewsbury for 28 years, something like that. And every year, me and my old man have got together and we've gone to see a Charlton match. Because that's our team. And we either, if Charlton are playing Shrewsbury, we'll go and see that. If not, we'll go to whatever league Charlton are in. We'll go and find a match and go and do it. And we didn't this year. Again, we'll put it off to next month. We'll do it at Easter. And then my old man fell ill. He's been ill for most of lockdown. And he's now not in a position where he can go to a footy match. So it's that whole thing about the last one we went to see was in 2019. And if we'd known it was going to be the last one that we'd go to, I probably wouldn't have shuffled him out into the car after the match and driven home. We probably made an evening of it or weekend of it. But but you don't know. You don't know these things. So
I think the moral of this story is do it today, people. Do it today. Don't do it tomorrow, okay? Because not to be sinister, with the current climate, there might not be here tomorrow, and not in a way that the world's going to end. In a way that there are restrictions being put on the world at the moment that keep sort of creeping back up onto us. So
yeah, because sometimes, as I said, you just give yourself the excuse that I'll do it tomorrow, manana.
Yeah.
Go on, grab it.
I mean, I could have offered an invite to a vampire to come to my house if I'd have actually done what I was supposed to. So maybe, I don't know. That's a Buffy vampire joke. There you go.
No, I got
that. Vince, I think you're great. I love hearing positivity through times like this. I mean, I know that some people can look at being over positive as being naive, but I don't think it is, because what you are offering is something that's valuable to people. Like the app that you rolled out to the pubs and the churches, don't forget, are something that was a lifeline for a lot of people, especially these sleepy pubs that don't quite understand technology. You were there to sort of be the conduit, this sort of, the marrying of these ideas together. And I think that's really important. So I want to say thank you on behalf of Shropshire for doing that,
Honestly, it was a pleasure.
No, I think you're great, and we'll have to speak sometime, maybe when we're making a bit of money about Shrewsbury Biscuit app. That'd be amazing. It's podcasts in your pocket. What?
Just give me a shout when you want. Yeah,
that'd be really good. Is there anybody?
And I'll tell you what.
Go on. Sorry.
What I was going to say was, when I've got a little bit more flesh on the bones of some of these apps, I'll give you a shout, and maybe we can have an app about that.
Yeah, we can do. I mean, hopefully we can have a pint over it. There you go.
Oh, God, that would be good.
Is there anybody you'd like to shout out or say thank you to before we get out of here?
I'd like to say Aidan and Mike, who put up with me, because I'm forever coming in with right, clear the whiteboard, I've got an idea. And God love them, they put up with an awful lot.
I see your whiteboard now. It's got lots on it.
That's one. I've got 4 or 5 on the go.
That's a tortured whiteboard, that is. That's tortured.
It's all over the shop. People, from a Shrewsbury point of view, definitely digital solutions. Nikki and Verity, the work they do is tremendous. But also, there's 1,000 good people in and around Shrewsbury, all plugging away, doing little bits of good, and it makes it. I think the best compliment I can pay Shrewsbury is I moved up here 28 odd years ago. My sister followed me, my younger sister. Then my older sister followed me. Then my brother moved here from St. Lucia because they came, they visited, they loved it. And I mean, I wasn't so happy because they followed me, but it's just a fantastic place filled with fantastic people.
Oh, I think you're great. I think you're good. If somebody wants to come to you with an idea and they were like, I know just the guy, how do they get in touch with you?
Best way, drop me an email, vince.dovey, Dovey, at Shropshire ITC.co.uk.
I called you Dovey at the end. I do apologise.
That's good, all right. You won't be the first or the last.
I used to know a friend, so for the same surname, but he used to pronounce it Dovey. It was,
I think it's a South London affectation on my family's part.
Yeah. Fantastic. Look, I think you've been great. I've really enjoyed chatting to you, and I'm so sorry about what happened with the podcast last time. This one,
I'll give it a second thought.
Will be locked and guarded in a secure file, and this will be released on Monday. I would like to, before we get out of here, tell people about our website. I'm always going on about my website. I've got to update it as well. There's about 7 podcasts that need to be put on there. But check it out. It's at www.theshrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk. And that is made by our friend Pete White at Web Orchard. Great team there. Make sure you check that out. I want to say thank you as well to Chris Goff from CGS Business Solutions. He's helped us become a CIC. We're a community interest company now. We are putting things together so we can start making a bit of money that'll go back into the show, that'll give us the tools that we can use to go out there and be the voice of Shrewsbury. Apparently, that's what somebody mentioned. I don't quite like that. That's quite cool. Thank you very much. Also, as well, there are still places open throughout Shrewsbury through this lockdown. If you need your essential items, I know there are places open in the market hall, the parade as well. You got the vegan hub and places that are open there that are essential. I would just like to remind people just be decent to each other, and stay strong during this lockdown period, because I know it's difficult for most people, but there are people out there trying to help. And make sure you reach out to them. If you need help, ask for it. Don't be so vain, okay? Because we're all here to help. Vince, thank you so much for joining me again. Good guest.
Alex, absolute pleasure, mate. Oh, and congratulations on your award.
Oh, thank you very much. I give it
well deserved.
It's a really odd thing when people say congratulations for the award, because I've never worn anything like that before, and I never know what to say. But thank you. I really do appreciate it.
To be honest, mate, I don't think it'll be the last.
Oh, bless you, thank you. We can only hope. But I like to extend that award to the Biscuiteers as well for putting up with my crap, because there are times when I'm like, and they're like, oh, it's just Alex being Alex, you know.
I get that a lot as well. Alex, you take it easy, mate. You take care, yeah?
Thank you very much, and make sure you check us out next time, guys. Peace out.